Welcome to Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. Your Real Money Talks host, Laurel Langmeyer, gets straight to the point about what it actually takes to make money and build lasting wealth in today's changing economic climate. If you're ready to get the financial results you've always dreamed of, keep listening. Real Money Talks is the right place for you. And now here's your host, Laurel Langmeyer.
Hi, this is Laurel, and you're at Laurel's Real Money Talks. Super excited to be with you today. And again, have more extraordinary content on Real Money Talks. So few people talk about money. This last weekend, I actually do what I tell you guys to do, which is, continue to learn and go to seminars. And I went and listened to someone who has been a senator for 12 years, deep in the Trump administration. And so interesting to just be reinforced how the investing of the world is controlled by the market and the central banking systems, everything we've been telling you. And his language was the same as mine. He said, if you want to be a millionaire, you don't put money into your personal bank account. You put it into an entity. So I want to talk to you more about just real money and how, if you really want to understand money, where is it from? What does it do? How does it get to you? The Federal Reserve Bank was designed in 1913, and it was designed by a group of gentlemen who went to Jekyll Island. In fact, if you want to get really into this money talk, I want you to read The Creature from Jekyll Island. So this whole conversation is about money. Where does it come from? How does it exist? How does it inflate? How does it deflate? Why is it controlled? And how does the banking system work? Just so you all are aware. And you all have a choice. And that's my whole conversation is about educating you to have a choice. You have a choice to continue to do it, 20 years later, 1933, the industrial age conveniently got decided, and conveniently the educational system went right along with it, where, you're supposed to get a job, maximize, which later came your 401k, but put money away, save. Don't worry about investing. Just put it in the stock market and it'll be all tended to. And that was all by design, folks. It was all by design that you make money. The taxation comes out of your paychecks. This is a worldwide principle because this comes from the central world banking system, not just the feds in America. So again, you make money, you get taxed, and you get to live on what's left. You have a choice to be an entrepreneur, and that is a worldwide decision. So to be an entrepreneur, you set up a company. And I know some of you say, well, I don't have something to do. Yes, you do. You have a product. You have a service. You're brilliant at something. There's something. A network marketing company. I didn't know what I was going to do when I left my job, Chevron. I became the master distributor for cash flow. I sold other people's stuff. So you all have something you could do. Let's just leave it there for now because that's not the conversation today. So then you set up an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp. And again, at any time, if you have any questions, want any appointments for any one-on-one help, go to asklaurel.com, give me your name, phone number, and email. Ask away, ask for an appointment, and let's get you started and situated in a proper conversation. So why would you stay just in the employee occupational conversation when you have a choice to be an entrepreneur? If you want to do both, you can do both. My point is the way that money comes to you depends on how you earned it. So if you earn it as an entrepreneur, then you make the money, you get all these extraordinary business deductions, then you get taxed on what's left. So you get to control your money. It's a complete legal choice of yours. What you're been lied to in the media and the newspapers are brilliant at keeping a very low profile. People ask me all the time, why aren't you on media? Why isn't this conversation in the world? Because it's not designed to be in the world. And the more this last weekend, this educational seminar I went to it just was like validating. The central banking system and the stock market and few families, right? From the Rockefellers to the Rothschild family, to the Warburg family, to the JP Morgan family, the four wealthiest families. Oh, and then you got to put, the King, Queen of England in there. So you got the 5 wealthiest families in the world controlling. Just stay little minions and just work and then put your money into the stock market and let us control it. You guys have got to wake up. This is how it works. And if you don't like the conversation, you can turn off this podcast. But if I was you, I would turn it on. I would turn it up. I would download it. I would share it with your friends and say, why are we such sheep? Why do we just keep going along like this? See, here's the truth how money works. when you put deposits in a bank account, well, actually, first of all, I'm going to go back. When you make money, you have a choice on how it comes to you. If it comes into an LLC bank account, a C Corp, some corporate account, you get legal deductions because you're incenting and you're actually helping the economy by contributing to the community that you're in. I'll call it that in simple terms. Or you can stay and just have a W-2 paycheck and only have a personal bank account. And it's the worst quality of money because it is your highest taxed money. So at least do both. So all that being said, with your choice of how money comes to you, I want the majority of your money to come into a business bank account. Now, let's talk about banking. So banking is an interesting system. So again, 1913, the Federal Reserve was formed. It's a private corporation that is currently pretty much bankrupt because all it does is print money, puts it into the economy, stimulates the economy, devalues the dollar. The whole thing goes round and round. Then round and round. We're in such debt. In fact, the big five, the big seven countries of the world, they're called the G7. They're so in debt, there's not a possible way besides resetting the entire world economic system to get us out of debt. It's that bad. All that being said, you say, well, what do? You pay attention to your world. Get a business. Maximize your tax strategies. Maximize your investing. And then know how banking works. Here's how banking works. When you put money into a bank account, in fact, I'm going to give you a video that describes it implicitly. So when you go to asklaurel.com/podcast gifts, there is a video that will tell you about the Federal Reserve in just a few minutes and just show you how the whole world banking system came about. It's a fascinating video. You're going to love it. When you put money into a bank account, basically it's a 10-to-1 ratio. So you make $100,000, you put $100,000, you've given the bank an opportunity to 10 times that. So they're going to go up and actually they have to keep 10% by law, but basically they take 90%. So you're going to give them the right to go to the central banking system and go get $1 million. And $1 million, then they get to loan out into the public, stimulates the economy. They make money on loans. They give you an 8% car loan. They give you a 6%, house loan. They give you a whatever kind of loan you need for your personal, want to remodel my home. I want to get my kid a car. So that's how the banks make money, and round it goes. So now you become a millionaire and you put $1 million of deposits in the account. So they get to reach up and get $10 million. So you're a partner in this if you decide to have a real money talk and learn about it. So what's interesting is that now that banking is so online, most people have lost or have never created or have a relationship with a banking executive. And I'm telling you, you need a relationship with a banking executive, either the president of the bank or the lending officers of the bank, but you need personal relationships with bankers. They can and will be your best friend, or they could do nothing for you. So I've gotten loans at very, very, very discounted rates because I know the banks and I know how many millions of dollars I have allowed them to reach up to the feds and pull down and make a lot of money on my money. That's how it works. So you can play and keep your head in the sand and be totally ignorant about it. But when you have really high quality money that comes in from business ventures into a business account where you do all your deductions, you pay tax on what's left, you know the relationship to a bank. And in addition to knowing the relationship to the bank, you have at least at that point 2 lines of credit. You have your personal credit and you have corporate credit because now you have a company. And so the more companies you have, the more lines of credit potentially, and the more credit you have in the world. So when people come to me and they come all over the world and say this, well, I can't get a credit card. I don't have any money. It's because you don't know how to make it. People that know how to make money are very, very attractive to financial institutes. It's not difficult at all to get lines of credit. It's just not. It's not hard to own a bank. I mean, just recently, with a few partners, one specific partner, we started a mortgage bank. Why? Because we had the leverage to do it and we had the resources to the capital to do it. See, people who know how to make money and who know how to leverage and know how to understand the banking system. So you can complain and whine and be a contrarian and say the whole thing's corrupt, or you just play with the rules of the game. There's plenty of ways for you to make money, to maximize your tax savings, and to invest in double-digit returns. There are tons and tons of ways for you to become very smart and very choiceful and very responsible in how you play in this conversation about money. Or you can stay in the occupational conversation, keep a job, get overtaxed, wonder, or believe. Here's what you have to understand. When politicians or people say, we're going to tax the rich, they're not talking about people like me. They're not talking about people like me because I actually don't make very much money. I actually only make $48,000 on a salary. I actually don't own a lot. I don't need to own a lot. My companies do all of that. So I want you to know that you can have a choice to be set up like that. I mean, I am so far out on the side of like, take advantage of every opportunity you can, that when your kids are 18, set them up with their own company. They're a legal adult. They can have their own business. They can have their own company. You can organize them to have proper tax structure and tax returns. This whole thing is designed that way. The very people who put it into law execute their lives that way. So why don't you? You say, well, I wasn't taught. Well, now you are. Now, let's have a wake-up call. So I want you to understand banking. I want you to go to asklaurel.com/podcast gifts. I want you to watch the video about how this whole thing works. I want you to engage. I want you to not straddle anymore. So let's just have that straddle conversation. Some of you are straddled. You have one foot in the conversation. Well, I want to keep a job that feels safe. And by the way, it's not safe. They could fire you tomorrow. The safest thing is to get smart, to get knowledge, to get confidence, and to get access. That's security. Security is not in someone else's decision whether they're going to give you a paycheck or not. That's actually an interestingly lazy way to live. I want you to get brilliant. I want you to learn. I want you to lean in. You say, well, this whole conversation is scary. You can't straddle it. You can't say, I want to have a job. I want to have any debt. And I'm going to put all my money into the market and just going to hope to God and bury my head in the sand and hope to God the whole thing works out. And then in the same conversation, come to one of my workshops or calls or conversations and say, I want to get rich. Like, you can't straddle. It's schizophrenic. It's like saying you want to be fat and skinny at the same time. Which one do you want? You got to pick a path, and there's only one path to follow. Like, a lot of people say, Laurel, I'm going to go to your program. I don't have programs. I have a lifestyle. I'm teaching you how to have a corporate lifestyle. So how do you live corporate life? How do you live within the corporate structure? How do you take deductions? How do you have your car be written off? How do you have educational seminars be written off? How do you have your phones and your computers be written off? How do you hire staff and have that as a tax deduction? How do you employ your children? There are so many conversations I can't wait to continue to have with you. I need you to engage. I want you to share this podcast with as many people as possible. This conversation is desperately needed to fix our economy. So you can sit back and say, well, somebody needs to do it, or you can contribute to doing it. Now, let's just speak about Trump for a moment. He's the most egotistical man I've ever met and traveled with. I've been with him. I know him. And you got to get beyond his personality. He is not bought of the system. He is not bought of the system. I mean, Obama was raised by the CIA. I mean, come on, folks, wake up. Like, there is an entire conversation about bringing this back to pure entrepreneurialism, pure capitalism. And you can either contribute to it or be a victim to it. It's your choice on which conversation you're going to stand in and which part of the knowledge base you want to learn about. And you don't have to know about all the conspiracy stuff and all the black shadow stuff that's going on, because there's a lot going on. Just in your world, what you get to do today is you can become a company. You can contribute an extra $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 to your family. You can invest in off-Wall Street assets. Learn about buying a gas and oil well. Learn about buying a local franchise. Learn about buying your local laundromat or, car wash. Learn about buying real estate. Somebody owns all the real estate in your town. Why don't you own a little bit of it? Well, because I haven't learned. I don't have access. Well, now you do. We are here to help do three things: teach you how to make more money, how to get access, and to get knowledge to the very system, the very financial systems that's going to change your personal life, your household, your community. You can be a contributor in it and just be in the knowledge. And at some point, my ultimate goal for all of you is to become a really smart shark. I would love for you at some point to maybe be a partner. You say, well, how do I do that? Well, you got to get smart. Smart sharks like smart sharks, and smart money likes smart money. Smart money doesn't like uneducated money. So lean in, learn, go do some homework, challenge this conversation today. Go to asklaurel.com, give me your name, phone number, email, ask any question, ask for an appointment, and would love to continue this dialogue on Laurel's Real Money Talks. Again, The Creature from Jekyll Island, it's a big old book. It's actually kind of difficult to find. It's kind of been buried, but it is quite extraordinary in the lessons and the learning of how we got where we got. And even though it's based on the United States, the foundation of it is what set the the IMF and the world banking system in order. So I know this was a big conversation, but I just am so passionate about this money conversation, and it's so shocking that so few people know about it and know the truth, can have a smart conversation. So lean in, learn. Go to AskLaurel.com. Let's continue this conversation. This is Laurel at Laurel'sRealMoneyTalks.com, signing off for now.
Thank you for joining Laurel for this segment of Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. To continue this new conversation and to find free resources to support your wealth creation, visit AskLaurel.com/podcast gifts. That's AskLoral.com/podcast gifts. Thanks for listening and join us again soon. New episodes are released every week.